Good morning, mathematicians. Today we are going to be talking about multiplying integers, and let's remind ourselves what integers are. Remember that integers are the whole numbers plus their opposites. So remember the whole numbers include 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so on. So that would go forever in both directions. Today we're going to be multiplying numbers visually. So I'm going to use two different colors to represent our two different types of numbers. So if I'm using my black pen, that denotes a positive value, and my red pen denotes a negative value. Or what I'm going to say is the opposite. And when we talk about multiplication, we're talking about groups of numbers or groups of values. So number 1, we would look at that and it says 6 times -4. But what we need to think about it as is 6 groups of the opposite of 4. So what that's going to look like is I have 6 groups with the opposite of 4 in each group. So if you can see, I have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. But I don't have a positive 24. I have the opposite of 24. So my answer is going to be the opposite of 24, or -24. Visually, I have a black circle with red X's in it. So I have different colors. So I have a positive value and a negative value, resulting in a negative answer. All right, let's take a look at number 2. Number 2, we are going to read that as 3 groups of the opposite of 10. So every time you see a negative, I want you to get in the habit of thinking the opposite of that number. So I have 3 groups with the opposite of 10 in each. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So visually, that's what it looks like. We have 10, 20, 30. I don't have a positive 30. I have the opposite of 30. Notice all of my X's are red. My answer is the opposite of 30, or -30. All right, let's take a look at number 3. Number 3 says we have the opposite of 10 groups of 6. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The opposite of 10 groups of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so I have the opposite of 10 groups, which is my red circle, and I have groups of 6. So I have 6 black X's. So altogether, we can see that we have 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, and 60. But again, I have the opposite groups of that, so it's the opposite of 60. And again, visually you can see I have a different colored circle versus the values inside of the circle. All right, let's take a look at number 4. Number 4 tells us that I have 5 groups of the opposite of 5. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with the opposite of 5 in each. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So again, you can see that I have a different colored circle versus the items on the inside. So my answer is going to be the opposite. So altogether I have 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. So my answer is the opposite of 25. 2 more examples. All right, let's see. Number 5 tells us I have the opposite of 10 groups of 2. So the opposite of 10 groups. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I have 2 values in each group, 2 items. So altogether we can see that I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. But again, visually you can see I have red circles and black X's. So I have different colors. I have the opposite of the groups of 2. So I have the opposite of 20, or a negative 20. All right, and last but not least, we have number 6, which we would say the opposite of the opposite of 7 groups of the opposite of 8. So I have 7 groups, the opposite of 7 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those probably need to be a little bit bigger. Oh no. What happened? I don't know what happened, but it's alright. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And I have the opposite of 8 in each. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Whew. All right. So I have 7 groups, the opposite of 7 groups of the opposite of 8. And so we can see I have 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, and 56. And notice that I have the opposite groups of the opposite of 8. So that negative, those two negatives cancel each other out. Notice I have red X's and red circles. So my answer is actually going to be a positive 56. So there weren't any problems with a positive value. I'm not sure why. Or I mean both positive numbers. So I'm going to create an example real quick. So just ignore that for now. So let's have, let's say 3 times 4. So if we had a problem about 3 times 4, we would say 3 groups of 4. So I have 3 groups of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So altogether I have 4, 8, 12. And again, notice that they are groups of 4, so there's nothing to change the value of them. The X and the circle are both the same color, so my answer would be a positive 12. So as you can see, a quick pattern, if you have a negative value and a positive value, your answer is going to be negative. A negative and a positive, answer is negative. Number 6, I have 2 negative values, and my answer is positive. So when you have an odd number of negative signs, your answer will be negative. Notice we have 1 negative sign in all of these, and our answer is negative. I have 2 negative signs in number 6, and my answer is positive. So if you have an even number of negative signs, your answer will be positive. And if you have no negative signs at all, your answer is positive. All right, hopefully you find this helpful. Hopefully the visual representation of positive and negative values and groups of numbers helps you understand multiplication a little bit better. Happy mathing!